Welcome to Race Stars TV, folks, for a special Easter event put on for the Roadster Rumble tonight. It isn't part of their normal championship, but they're going to have a fun night tonight in the Formula Vs and then some supercar action as well from two iconic Australian tracks. One that is no longer with us and one that is still with us. This is Oran Park we're looking at right now from the air. It's a jungle of housing these days, very sadly. Let's go down to the track though straight away and check out the action in the Formula Vs tonight. So the drivers out there just setting some lap times in a lone qualifying session, and then shortly we'll go into a three-race format tonight, 10 minutes per race, 8-lap events with the inverted top 10 for race 3. A 17 incident point limit as well tonight, which will mean the drivers will need to behave themselves, otherwise they'll get themselves a drive-through penalty. So some tricky racetracks to do just that, especially Oran Park. When you throw about 40 cars out there amongst the pigeons, it's going to be incredible to watch. So let's go down now and we'll get rid of the music, pick up some of your favourite drivers. Remember, if you're here to see someone in particular, let me know on Facebook or YouTube and I'll try and give them a bit of a highlight. There's Jack Boyd, who's been super strong throughout the regular season. Sonny Canchin goes to the top of the times now with a 1:17, so he's looking good as well tonight. I expect it to be pretty tight as far as times go around this Oran Park circuit. The Formula Vs, well, they're a little bit, well, they're similar probably to the MX-5s they're used to driving these competitors, but tonight obviously it's once again the momentum game and keeping the car flowing through the corners. Oran Park is one of the tighter tracks on iRacing. It was a great track to race at in the real world. I had the pleasure of racing here a fair few times myself, and it is iconic. It's got so many great memories. It's such an undulating racetrack with a bit of everything. The front straightaway as well, how it comes up out of the final corner, and then you're basically suctioned out towards the wall, and then you hope for the best down the pit straight, and then the kink. Well, these cars are going to be four-wheel drifting through the kink all night long, I can tell you right now. After this one, we go across to Phillip, by the way, for some supercars, and once again it will be some 25-minute races or 12-lap events will be put together after some quick qualifying and a practice session. So they'll be rolling starts too, by the way, with a 20 incident point limit on those ones. So that will be fantastic. There's Graham Ellis out there tonight competing and currently sitting 12th in the standings. I guess the drivers will have to behave themselves on lap 1 tonight through the kink. We're going to see wheel-to-wheel action, but these Formula Vs are very proud to throwing themselves up in the air and going over onto their lids if they tangle wheels. So interesting. A lot of the drivers, in fact, finishing their qualifying session already. We've got an 8-minute limit on qualifying. Henry Fenson's just come across the line smoking away down there. And just trying to check out some of these liveries that they've done up in quick succession here. Hopefully they're all G-rated. There's a wobbly Kyle Ridley wobbling his way to a stop. Nick Wood crosses the line, goes 8th place. There's Hobbo, just comes up across the dogleg now to finish his final flying lap. What can he do? He's currently P3, just over 4/10 off the top time, a 17.4. Look at the drifting action through the final corner, out to the wall. And Brenton Hobson will cross. Oh, he goes into the pits. I was going to say crosses the line, but he goes straight into the pits. What can Glenn Boyd do? 15th on his final flying lap. And let's see if he'll complete that as well. Jeremy Pickens down at the bottom, and so's Ray Harrison. Some of these drivers down the bottom need to just get a little wriggle on with 2.5 minutes to go in qualifying. I just saw Darren Sharps just jumped up. What will Glenn Boyd do as he crosses the line for 15th? 1.5 seconds off the pace. 15th position, and doesn't improve by the looks of things for him. Jamie Willis needs to get himself out of the bottom of the queue as soon as possible. He's coming around in currently 30th position. Keith Logan in the house. Thanks for the stars, Keith. Hope you had a great Easter, man, and still not croaky, mate. Might have, what was that? I got you spoiled, Luke, by family. Still not croaky, mate. Might have to drown that COVID. I'm still croaky, if that makes any sense. I think your comment, mate. Have you had a few beers tonight? Thanks, Graham, as well, saying have a great broadcast. It's either I can't read or you can't write that sentence tonight, because one of us is having a shocker there. I think it might be me. Willits goes through 25th fastest at the moment. Andrew Dyson, well, I'd expect him to put a good time in, and just I say that, he's put in the fence. So Dyson in a bit of trouble. Andrew Pears, another driver who see what he can do. Usually in the Class C, we're not running classes tonight, as far as I'm aware. We're just throwing them all in the mix together. So We've taken the banners off for the classes and drivers tonight, and they've all got the same machinery out there. So Pears crosses the line now. Does he get a lap time? And he doesn't. So the iRacing rules, if you put a wheel on the grass, your lap time doesn't count, which can usually be quite costly, as St. John's coming around his final lap with a minute to go, so he should make it. He's got 50 seconds in fact, so he should make it back to complete his first time lap. So just to recap, 3 races tonight for Formula V's, kicking off shortly in about a minute's time. It will be a 10-minute or 8 lap race, whichever comes first. Big downshift there for Adam St. John as he comes through the final corner, runs to the line. He's got 25 seconds to complete the lap, so he'll do that. Has not registered a time. 25 drivers have registered a time. And does he get a time in as he crosses the line? No, he doesn't. So another driver that will miss out, and he will start from the rear of the grid. So 25 drivers down to Ray Harrison have put a time in. Everyone else will start down the back. Let's go across now and get set for race number 1. We'll call out the grid and we'll get underway. So race number 1, they'll grid up tonight, and Jack Boyd has put it on pole position. He starts alongside Sonny Canchin, then it's Brenton Hobson from P3. Sean Doyle will start out of 4th. Losh and White carried your 3rd row of the grid there with Cameron Edwards, Nick Wood, Henry Fenson and Adam Sharp, your top 10. Linus and Miraz on the 6th row of the grid out of 11th and 12th. Then we go back to the second half of the grid, and it will be 13th Greg Holmes and Andrew Dutch. Dennis Glenn Boyd and Graham Ellis sharing that 8th row of the grid. Kyle Ridley and Darren Sharp back there with Owen Coleman and Simon Joel Smith, your top 20. Harris Ido out of 21st tonight with Jeremy Picken. Warner's down there in 23rd and Jamie Willis, your top 24. 25th on the grid tonight, Ray Harrison with Andrew Dyson, Seeger, and then it's McMahon down there in 28th. St. John, Stassi, Pears, Hancock right at the back with Andrew Roberts bringing up the rear. Let's get set to go racing. They're just getting their final briefing here from race control, and there's no I don't think there is any race control tonight, so it's all about just being well behaved. This is a fun family event tonight as far as their Easter break goes, and there's no points on offer towards the championship, of course. This is just all about having a bit of fun. So we're just waiting on Wayne Losh to grid up, then we'll get underway. And that was the voice of Greg Holmes in the background, who puts this whole Roadster Rumble together, does an incredible job, and it's such a cool little series. So if you want to get involved, check out the links and go and have a crack, have a run in their regular series. Right, final drivers have now gridded up. We wait for the get-go. You're going to see 33 Formula V's head down towards the kink at Oran Park. It's a scary, scary sight. Will they get through lap 1 with all cars still on their wheels? We'll find out shortly, as we're still waiting on the starters' orders here. About 3 seconds, I think, before we get the finish of staging, which we have now. So we'll hear the revs rise. Look at the smoke as well. Let's get set to go racing at Oran Park for race number 1 of the Roadster Rumble Easter Challenge. And we get a green light. They're already jumping out from the back, trying to find track position. 3 wide as we head down towards turn 1. Hobson made a great start, and he'll sneak through into the lead of this race. So Brenton Hobson leads as we head down through the kink for the first time. Watch for the cold tyres. The car's getting out sideways through here as well. There's already action in the background, and we got a spinner on the infield. It's Linus who's gone sideways and is in a bit of trouble. Everyone else has got through. Hobson leads and already being challenged by Jack Boyd down the inside. Boyd with a great move, moves himself up into P1. Hobson back to 2nd, Canchin holding on to 3rd, and then Sean Doyle, your top 4 as they blow smoke up over the bridge for the first time. And how cool is this sight with Hobbo trying to stay in touch. They go across the kink to the right. You just touch the ripple strip through there. Now down the hill we go, and slipstream galore down through the S's. It's Boyd, Hobson, Canchin still. We've got a spinner down the back. It's, I think, Owen Coleman's gone around. Oh, there's a big dust up coming off the bridge. 3-4 cars involved in that. Oh, hello. Someone's gone exit stage left as well, and they're all spinning around trying to get back onto their racing line, but coming down through the final corner. And to start lap 2, it will be Boyd leading. Watch for the old the slipstream, the snaking down the pit straight, which we see in these open wheeler, slow open wheels. In fact, there's a bit of pushing going on there too. I think Hobson, the old bump draft taking effect. Here we go, down towards the kink, lap 2, Hobson into the lead again. He's good at that, he holds position, he needs to try and block this out so Boyd can't get back at him. Boyd holds on around the outside, great racing, good respect shown by both drivers, and Boyd back into the lead just by half a car length, and he holds on, so Jack Boyd in control for now, and Hobson tucks in behind, and we resume how we were on lap 1. So lap 2 of this race looks very much like the first lap. Good racing at the front. Back further, there's a good battle, Nick Wood and Adam Sharp, and Glenn Boyd's off, and he's backwards as well, so Boyd goes around. That's Glenn Boyd, and he's in the gravel trap there. He's just gonna have to wait for plenty of cars to go through till it's safe to come back onto the racetrack. Hobson just falling back a little bit now. Let's jump on board with him as he goes up over this famous dogleg. You look for the trees, they give you an indication of where the apex is. Now hard on the brakes, then carry momentum, try and slip through the mid-corner here, and then ease into the throttle, then stamp on the throttle. What have we got, 75 horsepower on offer, something like that tonight? Not a lot. And then down the pit straight, just as we saw on the first 2 laps, Hobbo will get to the lead for the kink. He's very, very good at that. And he'll lead in, but Jack Boyd went around the outside last lap. Will he do it again? We've got some lap traffic up ahead now to play a part as well, so this could become very interesting. So through they go, under the drone camera, under the bridge, flat out. It is Boydie back into the lead, so it's a carbon copy of lap 1, 2, and now on to lap 3. It's, I'll tell you what, Sonny Canchin's getting a great view of this battle in front. Let's jump on board with him for a bit. He is pushing well. Anthony's in the house, says go Greg Holmes. Let's get Greg Holmes up on the screen. I'll hang on a sec because Canchin throws it to the inside of Hobson over the bridge. And that is a place you don't tend to see a lot of overtakes, but he's made it stick. And Boyd in the background saying, hello, what's going on in front of me? This is incredible racing. Hobbo holds position. They go wheel to wheel and he retains second. So Boyd, Hobson, Canchin and Doyle, who are on board with now your top 4. As the lap traffic right in front of Boyd now starts to play a part. Back in the pack a little bit. Let's have a look at Greg Holmes for the sake of Anthony, who's tuning in tonight. There he is, the Extreme Racing driver, the man who puts this series together. Really doing well. He's in 16th place, chasing here after Andrew Dyson, who has gone up 12 positions at the start of this race. Andrew Dyson, Holmes almost in the fence there. I thought he was going to feed it into the wall. Had to back right out of the throttle, but Andrew Dyson has just gone past now. He's flying up 12 positions now into the top 14. And what a great run he's having. It wasn't the best qualifying, that's for sure, but he's turned the speed on now in the race. That's when it counts. Up at the front, Jack Boyd's got a 1.8 second margin now, and Hobson's dropped back to 4th place. A bit of switcheroo as White Carriage, he goes off onto the old go-kart track there, then does a bit of Leyland Brothers grass cutting and back onto the circuit. Up over the bridge, the Wrigley Spearmint sugar-free gum entry. Anthony said, I think we put the pressure on Greg. I think we did. Put the old commentator's curse on him as he almost fed it straight into the fence. He's in a battle now though with, who's he got there? Damien Seeger right behind him, who's come through the field. Nick Woods as well. He's trying to fight back after that earlier spin. He's dropped 10 positions to 18th. And he's starting to fight his way back now after Seeger. And look at this, Greg Holmes in the thick of things. And it's a battle pack and a half. You can see behind, here comes Seeger, trying to find a way through. In front, he's got Dyson and Joel Smith. Here's the view in front. Oh, down the inside, Holmes has a big look here on Dyson. He gets alongside him and he should be able to make this work. So on board with Holmes, and he's going down the pit straightaway now, neck and neck with Dyson. And wow, what a great run. That was so cool. The drone camera's gone AWOL. He's behind the buildings. But check out Holmesy now, working his way ahead of Dyson. In fact, he's got to try and go with Dyson, I reckon. Dyson's got good lap speed. In fact, he's done a 1:19.5 was his last lap. So if he gets in front, probably want to try and stick with him because he's cutting his way through the field very, very well at this stage. Back to the front, Jack Boyd leads 2.1, so he's starting to walk away. Hobson, meanwhile, on the back of Sean Doyle now. Here we go. You can see the very renowned smoke trail coming from these Formula Vs. I love that iRacing added that in because it is so realistic. You always see the puffs of smoke from the Formula Vs. and we're seeing it again tonight. Hobson needs to deal quickly with Doyle as he feeds out to the fence. You can see how the back end of the car really holds down, the front end starts to push, which is another characteristic of Formula Fords as we get alongside. Sean Doyle will be a sitting duck through the kink now for Hobbo. He'll move up into P3. You can see Cameron Edward in the background, Way Losh as well. They're enjoying this little fight. There's Cameron Edward. The lap car's Parasito. He's right in the middle of all that. Then you've got Fenson, Dutch, Ridley and Sharp back in the order. There goes Sharp through now with Darren Sharp as well, down in 12th place. Then Jeremy Pickens with Dyson. Oh, hello. Who's that going sideways? That's Simon Joel Smith. And he almost stops. Oh, well done there. Holmes had to take evasive action. Just missed him. So good reflexes. Then you got Glenn Boyd, who's recovering from a spin as well. He's back in 19th place, and Jamie Willetts rounding out your top 20, up 4 positions in this race. So it is busy out there, as we expected. 3 races to be run with an inverted top 10 coming up as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Will Wilson's here. Hello, Will. Says, hey, it feels like I haven't seen a stream in months. I don't get notifications for this channel. You need to turn those notifications on, Will. So if you're on YouTube watching tonight, Taipan Events, please subscribe and click the little bell as well so you get notifications. We've got a few broadcasts coming up this week, including a brand new series which will kick off later in the week on Wednesday night. So the Improved Production Car Series, which is the New South Wales E-Series. They're all real world drivers, so that should be fantastic. Wednesday night kicking off there. So Ridley and Dutch in tow. This is for 8th place. They're just behind Fenson as well. Bit of a wobble there for Ridley, and I think Dutch will probably get through. He does. In fact, he's getting swamped here. Adam Sharp gets a good run through as well. All hard on the brakes there. I thought he was going to go straight into the back of Dutch for a second, but he got it pulled up. And what is he, a corn cob, Ridley? Looks like a corn cob. It is a piece of corn, so there you go. Nice creative livery tonight for Ridley up over the bridge. There you go. So lap 7 of 8. It's still at the front. Pretty spread out between Boyd and Canchin. He's got 3 seconds the margin. We're looking at this battle between Hobbo and Canchin now. This is a battle for 2nd place. It's right on board again with Brenton Hobson. And, well, let's jump into visor cam. It's always fun in these Formula Vs to jump into the driver's head and watch their perspective. So here he goes down the pit straightaway to start the final lap. So the white flag drops, 1 to go. They cross the line. Oh, some interesting. Did he miss a gear there? It sounded like he missed a gear. He falls back in behind Canchin. He'll try and go around the outside through the kink. This will be interesting. And Canchin will probably slide out towards him. Gives him space. Oh, there's contact. Oh, in towards the fence. And contact with Hobbo there. And he comes back onto the racetrack. Oh, so close. As Cameron Edwards slides through as well. So big moment there between those two. I think someone just called out to race control. I don't believe we have race control tonight, or do we? Actually, sorry, we do. Jonathan Hancock's in the house. I just noticed. So there you go. We do have live race control. Fantastic. And I thought Greg told me there wasn't any, but that is cool. So righto, let's watch this. Jack Boyd coming through to finish his final lap, and he'll take a win here in race number 1. There's the onboard replay from the Hobbo crash. It was always going to happen going around the outside of the kink. Generally they get together if that sort of thing takes place, and there's a little bit of a wobble I think from the other car. And anyway, let's get back to the action at the front, because the checker flag waves to take the win in race number 1. Jack Boyd in control, crosses the line way out in front. P2 is going to go to Wayne Losh tonight, with Doyle smoking his way across the line for a top 3 finish. It's line ball to the line. It's Edwards and Hobson 4th and 5th. Henry Fenson gets 6th ahead of Andrew Dutch. Sonny Canchin, who was involved in that incident, comes back to 8th, with Jesse White Carriage getting there 9th place ahead of Adam Sharp. So race 1 run and done. That was pretty exciting. We've got 2 more to go with an inverted top 10. We'll see what the next race holds, and we'll get the full results up on the screen shortly. But that is Formula V action from Oran Park tonight. We've got plenty more happening straight after this. Thanks, Will. Yeah, I'm sounding better. I'm getting there. I've still got a bit of a nasally carryover from COVID, but all in all, I do feel much better tonight. It's the first broadcast I've been able to do without coughing non-stop, so I'll be able to actually talk a bit more tonight, and it'll be a lot of fun. Right, we're just waiting for the final cars to cross the line. We'll bring the results up on the screen shortly. There's a few drivers beached down there. There's Andrew Pears, he disappears. Andrew Roberts just coming up to finish his lap. I think he's the last one out on the track, so once he crosses the line, we'll be able to send you some results. They smoke like Will Wilson's old two-stroke bike. They're a V'd-up Beetle motor in the back of these Formula Vs. Renowned for puffing a bit of smoke though. Here's the results. So Jack Boyd confirmed the winner, 5.4 seconds over Wayne Losh and Sean Doyle, your top three. Greg Holmes got home in 18th there. We'll just read through the bottom places, which often get overlooked. And you can see it was right down to Stassi. Parasuto Pears was 26, Ridley Moroz down in 28th, 29th was Ray Harrison with Warner's down there in 30th, Andrew Roberts, St John and Jonathan Hancock, of course, is our race control tonight. Let's go to the grid for race number 2. This is how they will start. So it has inverted the top 10, which is fantastic, and it will be off the front row, Adam Sharp with Jesse White-Carriage starting from second. Sonny Canchin out of third with Andrew Dutch. Then it's Fenson, Hobson, Edwards and Doyle. Losh and Boyd, your top 10. Sharp and Dyson, your top 12 for the second race tonight. I think we'll get a short run in tonight, so we'll just get ready to go racing. We won't get through the full grid. It's generally for the second race only a 1 minute staging time, so the revs rise and we get underway. Lots of wheel spin. They all dump the clutch. For race number 2, Sharp got away well. So did Hobson in the mid-pack, as he did in race 1. And he's moving his way straight up towards mid place. They roar past us here through the kink, and have we got a spinner? No, we don't. It's just a bit of tyre smoke and a bit of oil smoke. Oh, now we do have a spinner. There's a crash down there, and I think it's Jeremy Pickens who's maybe gone around as well. So there's a couple of drivers off in the gravel trap. Pickens was the one that we saw sliding sideways. Out in front, Adam Sharp leads, and they're jostling for position behind. Look at this, Fenson and Hobson, and also White-Carriage is in there as well. Hobson up over the bridge, 3 wide as they go through here. This is risky, 3 wide, but they get through there without incident. Oh, Hobson's gone around, in fact. So Hobson spun the car, and we didn't see if there was contact there, but he went exit stage right off the top of the bridge. Now he's got a lot of work to do because he falls all the way back to 28th position for Hobbo. There's cars strewn everywhere down through the S's. Linus is one of them. I think also McMahon's gone around as well. And did Greg Holmes get through? He did, but he's gone quite slow, so he's dropped 9 positions, so it's not so good in the mid-pack on lap 1. Will Wilson says Herbie didn't sound like these. 3 wide as we head down the pit straight. Lap 2 of race number 2 tonight. And Jack Boyd and Dyson. Look at this, 4 wide as we head down towards the kink. And hold on to your hats. I always hold my breath. Dutch has gone sideways at the front. He's gone way out to the right-hand side of the racetrack. They come under the bridge now, and it's Doyle holding on to third. Edwards and Losh is there as well. Wayne Losh up 4 positions already in the race as they close in behind. There's Jack Boyd and Andrew Dyson making amends for the qualifying effort. He's got himself really high up. He started just outside the top 10 for the second race. This will get him well into the top 10 now for 7th. And he can possibly run here with Jack Boyd and get up towards the podium. So Canchin leads out in front by 2.2 seconds. We've got another spin down the back there, and it's Joel Smith going around again. So he's had an issue, and also Hobbo's trying to make his way back through the field, now chasing Fenson and also Stassi, Lucas Stassi there on the inside. Big contact, and he's mounted him as well for good measure. So Hobbo, well, that's not a good look. They're both on top of each other there, and Hobbo's going to drop right to the back of the field now. There's more carnage down there. Stassi's off, Pickens is off as well. So the drivers are struggling to keep it clean in the mid-pack. Up the front though, Canchin with a massive lead, and Jesse White-Carriage holds on to second. And then Sean Doyle just tucking into third. He's got Cameron Edwards like a little buzzing mosquito all over the back of him right now for 4th place as well, and Jack Boyd moves up into 5th. So Boyd on the charge, here he comes, watch out. So let's jump on board with Boyd over the top of the hill here. So he turns in, there's a huge bump on the mid-corner there, and then we go up over the crest, this famous bridge like we all had on our slot car sets as a kid. If you had the Scalextrics bridge, you knew you had a good Scalextric set. And now down through the S as you skim across the concrete. He's got to try and find a way through here, Jack Boyd. He's going to really have to work his overtakes well and not make contact. With race control watching on, you need every overtake to be as clean as a whistle. And here we go, into the braking zone. He thought about it, and then he tucks back in behind. He'll try and get a good slipstream down the pit straight. Needs a good exit out of here. He's a little bit balked on the mid-corner, which meant he had to jump out of the throttle. That hurts his exit. Would have been better off just hanging back a little bit probably. But the run down the pit straight away. Here we go. Edwards just in front as well. And the 58, I reckon. Oh, I thought he was going to have a look. He chose not to. And Edwards, in fact, he goes back to the other side. There he is. Oh, there's a spinner. There's a spinner involved there, and it's Jesse's gone around. Jesse and Jack Boyd as well. After all that hard work, Jack Boyd also spun in all that. He drops down outside the top 10 now, so lots going on as Sean Doyle for P2 has Cameron Edwards glued to the tailpipe of him. Up the hill they go. Look at that. It's inches between the back of his car and then the front of Edwards' car. Nothing in it at all. Nick Wood's running well as well. He's right there in fifth place now. He's up a couple of positions. In fact, he's up 10 positions to a top 5. He's got Glenn Boyd next behind him, but that's a great run by Nick Wood, the Phoenix Smokers racing machine. And can he make it a top 3? He's got a really good run here on the back of Losh. He just needs to get past Losh, and then Edwards and Doyle are sitting ducks in front of him if he can get past them, because he's carrying a lot of speed. Here they go, past our camera. Down through the kink, Edwards trying to hold on here. He's gone defensive early. You got Doyle up around the outside, trying to make the move stick. Hard on the brakes, he leaves good space, and then Doyle will try a switch back. All the while Doyle's watching his mirrors, because Losh is really getting aggressive now. Look at the way he's dancing left to right, and here goes Nick Wood down the outside as well, trying to find his way through. So we're on board with Wood now, and the Phoenix Smokers racing car. He's tucked up behind, and this is helping Glenn Boyd get back into this, because Boyd, there he is in the background, has already pulled back quite a bit of margin on the last lap. It's down to 0.8 of a second now. Your race leader out in front, continuing to dominate this race. It's 3.3 seconds now. Sonny Canchin flying in the 59 machine, and unstoppable is a word that comes to mind in race 2. Edwards, the gap back, still 3.2. Then behind them, it's a bit of a train, as what's happened to Moz there. He's gone off the track, and he rejoins in 16th place. Holmes and Hobson way back here in 22nd place. There's Hobbo now, trying to just get the position back on Ray Harrison. There's a slow car. It's Roberts getting out of the way nicely there, the lap car. And Simon Joel Smith now spins the car. So they're all still coming to terms, I think, with switching to the Formula Vs. They do dance around a lot, the Formula Vs, compared to the MX-5. They're both, I think, equally easy to correct and save a slide, but they're coming to terms with it tonight. I feel these drivers really struggling. This battle on lap 6 of 8 for a second still rages on. This is the Edwards on board looking back. And you've got to think maybe that Doyle, Wood, Losh and Boyd, if they could get past, they could maybe pull away. Will Wilson said, did you watch the 6 hour? Dave Worrell did well in the little Mazda. Yeah, they got a win, didn't they, for class? I've got to get some updates so I can post them up on Racestars TV, but I'm pretty sure they won their class from what I was sent, or what was shared with me. It's fantastic, so good job to the boys. And I know Bowden was out there as well having a run, and he did well. Cameron Hill won his 6 hours, so they did a great job. Young Tom Sargent as well. I've met both those guys at different events and at my sim racing shop back in the day, so it's good to see them stand on top of the podium at Bathurst as we hit lap 7 now. Canchin way out in front. Nick Wood moves to second. We got contact there, And was that Doyle? There was definitely a big crunch. And as Doyle got a broken car, he's just dropped to third. And it possibly be fourth in a second because Cameron Edwards gets a great overtake down the inside. And Doyle goes back to fourth now. Glenn Boyd still bolted to the back of this top 6. Nick Wood, what a great drive, up 13 spots into second. Now if they invert the top 10 again, which I think they will, it'll put him back a little bit and he'll have to work hard for the final race, but still, fantastic effort. A couple of other drivers notably here. Ridley back in 15th has made up 12 spots. Moz has also made up 14 spots for 14. So great drive. Adam St. John back in 24th. He's made up 8 positions. So great drive. And inside the top 10, you've got Coleman who's made up 12. Glenn Boyd's made up 10. And of course Nick Wood's made up 13. So those drivers in particular have really turned it on for race 2. Sonny crossed the line. 1 to go. The white flag drops here at Oran Park for race number 2 of this Roadster Rumble special Easter Challenge night. And the gap back, look at that, 3.1 seconds. Boyd, and that's Jack Boyd, goes quickest of anyone on that lap. Moves himself back into 8th position now. He's got Owen Coleman just in front, bit of damage on that car for Owen. And Jack will try, I think, get through here as quick as possible. Thinks about it. Oh, what's happened here? We've lost a few of the top competitors. So Doyle's gone around, Losh as well. Both those drivers have gone around. Jonathan Hancock in race control straight onto it. And he's having a look. So wowee, Kanchan leads and he's going to win this one by an absolute country mile here. 3.2 seconds as he comes up through the final part of this Oran Park circuit. Over the dog leg, down into the dip. Everything compresses. You can see the final corner. The crowd cheers, and you look up and you just hammer it towards the line. To take the checker flag in race number 2. There it is for Sonny Kanchan. Gets the job done. Nick Wood gets a well-deserved second ahead of Cameron Edwards. Glenn Boyd will get 4th. Then Jack Boyd 5th, just ahead of Coleman, and then it's Adam Sharp who takes 7th place. Losh gets 8th. And Jesse in a 9th. We've got a car in the fence there on the pit straight, by the way. And Sean Doyle rounds out your top 10. Not sure who that was in the fence, but I think there's a bit of fun and games going on. In fact, it was Sonny Kanchan in the fence on the start-finish line. So, well, that's race 2. Run done. We got another winner, Sonny Kanchan. Great effort. Spot Gutter, good comment, says it would be great if someone remade Oran Park somewhere. Great track. It was a great track, and yeah, need someone with a big block of land to just rebuild a replica of Oran Park. That would be cool. How about this? Some grassy donuts from Sonny Kanchan. I don't think they'll do a donut on the Formula V, so he's celebrating down on the grass. The only way he knows how. Well done. Your race results from race 2, Sonny Kanchan, the winner by 3.4 seconds over Nick Wood. And then Cameron Edwards was 3rd place there. Glenn Boyd got 4th, Jack Boyd 5th. And it was Coleman, Sharp, Losh, White Carriage and Doyle, your top 10. Sharp, as Darren Sharp got 11th tonight with Fenson, Willits, Moroz getting 14th ahead of Ridley, Seeger, Dyson and Hobson down in 18th place. 19th for tonight's second race was Greg Holmes, and then it was Simon Joel Smith in 20th, and Harrison Stassi, Linus Pears, Ellis down there in 25th, with Pickens and John and McMahon down there in 28th. Dutch was 29th, Verasido 30th, with Roberts and Warner, your top 32. Thanks again to Jonathan Hancock over in race control. Quick warm-up session now for the drivers, just to get out there and get set. Some of them choose to have a bit of a break now, go to the bathroom, all that sort of thing. Others get out there and do some more laps, but it was only a 1-minute warm-up, so we're getting set now for the final race of the evening. So greeting up for the final race of the first part of the evening anyway, before we go to Phillip, and it will be Sonny Kanchan who starts from pole position tonight. Nick Wood starts from second, then it's Cameron Edwards and Glenn Boyd off the second row. Jack Boyd and Coleman running out your top 6. Sharp, Losh, Carrigy and Doyle your top 10. Then it's Sharp and Fenson out of the 6th row down to 12th. 13th on the grid, Willits and Moroz. Then it's Ridley, Seeger, Dyson and Hobson with Holmes and Joel Smith rounding out your top 20. 21st on the grid, Harrison with Stassi, Linus and Pears your top 24. 25th on the grid, it's Ellis picking beside him, then St John, McMahon, Dutch, Aristito and Roberts down the back with Warners. Finishing off the grid in 32nd position. They've worked hard for this one tonight. It is the final race. Let's get set to go. Let's head down trackside for the get-go. 1 minute of staging, all the drivers gridding up. Just waiting on Andrew Dyson. Cancham will get the green light shortly and he'll get underway for this final race. The revs rise. Let's get set to go racing, folks, for the third of 3 races for the Formula Vs tonight before we head across to Phillip Island for the V8 Supercars. Lots of wheel spins. Cancham went backwards off the start. Wood made a great start, so did Edwards. And Glenn Boyd got away equally as well. Look at the way Cancham goes right across to the right-hand side of the track. Nick Wood, superb effort. And the run down towards the kink now. So far, so good. They're all trying to squeeze their way through, and I think so far everyone, just as I said that, we've got a spinner, someone going backwards off the track. It's Owen Coleman, and I think he's done that already once tonight. He's done it again now. Nick Wood leads, though, ahead of Edwards, Cancham and Boyd, and the other Boyd, both Jack and Glenn, close together there. The top 5 breaking away from the main field on this opening lap, lap 1 of 8. So evenly spaced races tonight, 8 laps each. Nick Wood in control. What a great get-go. He didn't get a lot of wheel spin. It was Cancham that really lit it up, went backwards. Boyd's off the track now, and big crash. Someone else went with him. I think it may have been Ellis, was it? And there's a big crash back there. It may have also been Moz, and Moz was one of the other ones. In fact, Moz has gone back to the pits. He's had enough. Brenton Hobson's up 8 spots on the opening lap into the top 10, so what a great drive that is for Hobbo, 88. As he chases down Darren Sharp now. Cancham has also just gone backwards. In fact, he's stopped there. So Sonny Cancham has gone around through the final corner. There's another car also stationary on the final corner. That brings Holmes up into 12th place. So Greg Holmes, great opening lap for him tonight, up 7 positions. As Nick Wood is under pressure from Edwards, your top 2 dicing here in this opening stages of the race. Cameron Edwards gets alongside. Can he go through and into the lead? He'll come down to the braking at turn 3, and no, Wood in control. Edwards slots back into second. The gap back to Jack Boyd about 7/10 of a second at this stage. There it is. You can see Boyd and Glenn, or Jack Boyd and Glenn Boyd, currently 3rd and 4th. Up over the bridge, it's Edwards going through on Wood, then Boyd coming through close behind. In fact, they're closing the margin down whilst Edwards and Wood fight for this lead battle. It's helping the 2 Boyds close up, and Adam Sharp also stay in touch. Look at the lock as he goes through here, and absolutely pushing at the front end. Anthony says no pressure. Holmes through a top 10. He's in 12th place now, so he's right on the cusp. Who's just gone around there? They're wheel to wheel, and that's deep in there, very deep from Sharp. He's got it stopped though. Well done. Onto the pit straight. An 18.4 for your race leader, a 17.5 for Boyd as he crosses the line. So Jack Boyd, so quick, moves himself now up into P2. Yes, in fact, he's gone to the lead of the race. Jack Boyd, what a great effort. And he slides through on Edwards as well. We've got Ellis and Roberts, I think, tangling up in the back end of the circuit. They've got around as well. So to the front of the field, the top 4, Boyd, Edwards, Wood and Boyd. Jack Boyd leading. It was actually Glenn Boyd that did the fastest lap of the race there, a 17.9, so he's flying. Obviously, assistance of the tow is quite handy around this Oran Park circuit in a Formula V. So they skim their way down. Lap 3 of 8 in this feature finale. Here comes Adam Sharp as well on the back of Darren Sharp. So there's a couple of Sharps in the top 10. Brenton Hobson's up into 5th now from the rear of the field. So he's gone from 18th, I think he started this race, all the way up to 5th in the space of 2.5 laps. So fantastic job there by Hobbo. Will come around onto the pit straight in 5th with a deficit of about 3 seconds he's got to try and make up here. In fact, it's 5.9 seconds. Get it right, Luke. It's 5.9 seconds to Glenn Boyd. So that's a huge margin. You can just see the top guys going down into turn 2 now. And once again, trading positions. Edwards and Jack Boyd. It's now Edwards in the lead. Boyd gets it back. And only by an absolute fraction to the outside, Edwards will try and stay in there. He's got to be careful that Nick Wood doesn't slot in between them when they're dicing like this. And Glenn Boyd's there as well. You can see Nick Wood, very defensive, goes wheel to wheel, almost makes contact with Cameron Edwards. Up onto the bridge we go. I could hear Glenn Boyd in the background. I thought I better have a look. There he is. He's so close. Gives him a big face full of smoke for his troubles. And now as we head down the hill, this is helping Jack Boyd scoot away. He's got the margin out to 0.7 of a second already. Very wide for Nick Wood through there. We're looking back from Cameron Edwards' car now. He's in 2nd position. Let's see if Nick Wood dives down the inside under brakes here. He doesn't. He's going to wait for the pit straight. He'll have a go now. Get a good exit. This is where Glenn Boyd will also get the advantage of the double toe. And this is where he was so quick on the previous lap with the fastest lap. He can tuck in behind these guys and get full advantage of this toe. Margin back to Hobson now 7 seconds, so Hobson not being able to catch the leaders at this stage. They're just too quick out in front, and he's had too many little issues. I think some contact may have hurt him as well. Hobbo now dicing with, is it Sharp? It is Sharp, so Adam Sharp here on the back of Brenton Hobson fighting over this 5th place. I've got to give a shout out to Darren Linus as well, who's just back in the order. He's made up a good 14 positions in this feature, so great drive. Lap 5 of 8. And he's scooting along very, very nicely. Simon Joel Smith now, in the fence and disappears back to the pits. So I couldn't even catch that. He was too quick on the reset button. But he's hit the fence, I think, quite hard down there, and he's gone back and retired straight away from the race. Jack Boyd looking to win this one. He heads across over the top of the dogleg now. There's the gap back to Nick Wood. I think Brenton Hobson may be off again. And he's going to get overtaken here, I think, by Adam Sharp. In fact, he's going to get mugged by Sharp. And, hello, 3 wide. There's the piece of corn car as well. Kyle Ridley also having a good look at these drivers in front. Hobbo, in fact, held on to 5th in all that. So I thought he was going to lose that position for sure. But no, he did well to hold on to it. Let's jump on board with Cameron Edwards as he heads through lap 6 of this race. So the gap's come right down, hasn't it? So there's Jack Boyd. Nick Wood's really closed up the margin now on lap 6. He knows that he's running out of laps to get this done. And Jack's been pretty consistent out in front. He's had to make up 4 spots in this race. But Nick Wood holds the ultimate lap speed. He's done a 17.6, 3/10 quicker than Jack Boyd's time as far as the lap time goes. So he's got laps 7 and 8 to do it. Will he try and overtake him on this lap? He's not close enough, I don't think, at this stage to get the pass done. Edwards is pretty close to the tail of him, though. Look at this, though. The slipstream towards the end of the pit straight pays off, and he gets alongside into the kink. Wheel-to-wheel racing. Nick Wood down the inside. Can he hold position? Jack Boyd hugs him, trying to stay as close as he can to then get the inside run down at 3. So Jack Boyd really aware there of what's going on. Good racecraft, and he goes back to the lead of this race. So just these young fellas, they know where to position the car, and they do a very good job. And there we go. By the way, Greg Holmes, Anthony, is in the top 10. So he's worked his way into 10th place now. There he is. He's got Linus just up the road, and he's got a nice 3-second buffer back to Willett. So he should be able to hang on to that top 10 position. No pressure, of course. Jack Boyd leading, a lap and a bit to go. Look at the drivers behind, hungry. Any incident now would mean that someone like Glenn Boyd could come through and snatch a victory. This is the view forward from Glenn Boyd's Boyd racing car. You can see the young fella up the front, Jack leading, then Wood, and then Edwards down the pit straight. They'll get the white flag, 1 to go. And it's all Jack Boyd for now, but here comes Nick Wood again. This characteristic of Formula V racing where they can slipstream past. He needs to try and probably block past him this time though, so he can't go around the outside, so he needs to try and move across, and they make contact. Jack Boyd's gone around. He does a quick little pirouette and he'll continue on there in 4th place, but Wood says sorry. Was there anything in that? Will race control maybe deem that Nick Wood needs to give the position back? Anyhow, like I predicted, Glenn Boyd's right in this for a win now. And he's all over the back of Cameron Edwards as they head up over the bridge for the final time. Replay of the incident, bottom of your screen. Look at Glenn Boyd fishing for the lead. He's trying everything. He's in the mirrors here of Cameron Edwards. Watch for the contact. Did he move across a little bit? It looked just like a little bit of an awkward moment between them. Don't think there was anything in it really. Maybe a racing incident, but Cameron Edwards should be able to hang on here for this one unless Boyd has one last ditch dive down the inside. He doesn't. He's got to get a good exit though. He might be able to slipstream him to the line. Cameron Edwards comes out of the final corner leading by a car length as we head down to cross the line, take the checker flag, and it's Edwards with the win by 1/10 of a second over Boyd. Jack Boyd will come through and get P3 onto the podium. Great job. Nick Wood, he gets 4th. And Brenton Hobson will come home into the top 5. Hobo 88 5th tonight ahead of Adam Sharp, Darren Sharp, and Kyle Ridley 8th place. Linus, he got 9th place, followed by Greg Holmes. Did make it to your top 10 tonight. Congratulations, Greg. Good finish. But Cameron Edwards too strong. He's got the win in the 3rd and final race tonight here from Oran Park. We're going to take a short break in a sec. And then we'll come back, of course, once we get to Phillip. But we'll go through some interviews first, and then we'll have a chat to the boys. Who's doing some burnouts? Someone's trying to do some burnouts anyway. Is it Jeremy Pickens? They're down there having some fun. Right, let's see if we can get some guys in for some interviews shortly, and we'll get the results up as soon as they're made available, and then we'll head across to Phillip Island. Looking forward to that, some supercar action live from Phillip Island shortly. Race results up on the screen now. There it is. Cameron Edwards, your winner for the feature race by 1/10 of a second over Glenn Boyd. Then Jack Boyd got 3rd, Nick Wood 4th, Brenton Hobson 5th, and it was Sharp, Adam and Darren there in 6th and 7th. Ridley, Linus and Holmes your top 10, and with Doyle, Stassi, Willis Paradiso down in 14th, Picken, White down there in 16th with Dutch and Coleman your top 18, 19th. In the feature race went to McMahon with Canch in the top 20, then St John, Fenson, Seeger, Harrison, Pears, Ellis, Warners and Losh, your top 28. Simon Joel Smith, 29th with Moroz, then Roberts and Dyson right at the back for that feature race. Let's see if we've got anyone. We may not have any drivers in for a chat. We may just head across and get the next server up and running. So just stand by for a second. If we don't get any drivers, we'll quickly shoot across to Phillip Island. So it looks like we haven't got any drivers coming in for a chat. So we're just going to go and sort a few things out tonight. It is the fun event tonight, the Roadster Rumble, having a week off from their regular series, putting on this little Easter special, which is a fantastic thing. And the drivers will be getting set now to switch across from Formula Vs to V8 Supercars. That's a big change, isn't it? A lot more horsepower and, of Of course, Phillip Island, a quick flowing racetrack, good place to test your skills. Race 1 tonight will be a 12 lapper, then a 5-minute warm up between it. Race 2 a 12 lapper as well, so 2 25-minute races at 12 laps, and then both rolling starts as well. Should be very, very good. Incident limit for the races at Phillip Island, 20 per race, with a mandatory pit stop for the minimum of 2 tyres in either race. So there you go. You can't do your pit stop on the last lap as well, so that's an interesting little fact about that. Right, we'll put up the flyover, and I'm going to go head across and try and find the next service. So I'll be back with you shortly, folks. Come back in about probably 7 or so minutes. We should be live for Phillip Island. Part 2, we are back and it's the Roadster Rumble Easter special tonight. We're at Phillip Island now for the second part of the evening. Drivers are out there in the V8 Supercars getting set for action, and tonight, well, We're going to have 2 races from Phillip Island, 12 laps apiece. And, well, I don't know how experienced these guys are in V8 Supercars, because generally we're in MX5s. But tonight you're going to see how they handle 650 horsepower. Who can handle it, who can't. It's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure. And, well, Jack Boyd, he was quick throughout tonight's Formula V racing. Can he back that up again tonight? We know Brenton Hobson, he'll be quick. He knows his way around a V8 Supercar. And, well, you know, I love V8 Supercars. It's always exciting. As soon as we get to Phillip Island, I always get a spring in my step. And, well, Robbo is finding the fence there. So is Ray Harrison, Dylan Cantor. Of course, if you're, as I said earlier, if you're here to see someone in particular, if they've shared the stream over onto their Facebook page, make sure you let me know so I can give them some extra airtime and, of course, show you their car and where they're at all times, because that's what we do here at Race Stars TV. They look good though, don't they? Some good paint jobs on the cars. They sound great. The noise is cranked up as well. There's Glenn Boyd and the Boyd Racing Holden V8 Supercar. So I reckon we turn the music down and we just enjoy the symphony of V8s now from this Phillip Island circuit. If you saw the flyover earlier, you'll see how magnificent it looks from the air, this place, and how good it looks from the grandstands as well. And trackside, we might show you an onboard lap here. They are in practice. There's about 4 minutes to go in the practice session before we then get into qualifying. Let's jump on board with Jack Boyd and just ride through a lap here in Visor. Boyd pulls off halfway through the lap. That doesn't help us for our lap guide, does it? We'll head across and pick up Hobson, who's about to start his flying lap here in practice. The best time we've seen so far is a 1 minute 28.8. As drivers come to term with a big switch from a 75 horsepower Formula V up to a 650 horsepower V8 Supercar. It's fantastic. We've got some good cameras set up here as well. Different drone cameras set to impress, and it picks up just the speed, the relative speed of these cars. Where's Losh gone? He's off the circuit somewhere in the grass down at the bottom of MG, I think that is. And he'll go back to the pits, no doubt. Owen Coleman, he's got his car all painted up there. Motorsport Haulers racing and ready for action. There's a lot of smoke down there. I think that was Dylan Cantor. What's he up to? There's this beached car down there on the embankment. Picking up Coleman again across the top, Lukey Heights, and they carry as much speed as they can through there, then drop down into MG. This will be a passing point. And then through these final couple of corners where you really just squeeze the throttle. So easy to burst into wheel spin through there, turn 11 and turn 12. Same, you need to just balance the car right, because if you get some understeer on the mid-corner, it's very easy to walk the car out into that gravel trap. And we've seen a lot of big crashes down the pit straight away up against that wall on the right-hand side. Alternatively, you can get a tank slapper off and end up in the pit fence. So it's important just to get those last couple of corners exactly right as Hobson goes P2 now. And in his wake, he's got Moroz there getting a bit of a tow in the Ford Mustang. So he's just following Hobson's lines at the moment. So Hobson looking good early on in practice. And then Damien Seeger's gone P3 in the beautiful livery there. Throwback to the Peter Brock Mobile 1 car, the 05 on the side. That looks fantastic. So he's racing tonight for Palmer's Australia, of course, and he's got that moving very nicely at the moment. 1.1 second off the pace. We're expecting to see a few other drivers probably slot between his time and Boyd at the top on a 1:28.8 shortly. So we'll just wait and see in the practice. Well, they've only got a minute to go. There's a bit of sideways action there. Fenton running a similar livery. Oh, someone else has gone sideways. We'll expect a bit of that tonight. Like I said, this is a fun Easter event. These drivers just blowing some steam off and having a bit of fun outside of their regular season, which I think is fantastic. And good on Greg Holmes too. He said, look, let's get this broadcast tonight. We weren't planning on doing it, planning on having a couple of weeks off broadcasting, but at the last minute, and I was free luckily, he said, let's just do it. I said, righto, you're the boss, let's get it happening, and we're here live, so fantastic. 15 seconds to go before we go to lone qualifying. Qualifying will be important tonight because obviously with no other cars on the track, you can get yourself a good lap time in, and then get to the race. Track position very important for the start here at Phillip Island, of course. So 2 12-lap races about to come up. They will be rolling starts, so something that's a little bit foreign for a few of these drivers too. Rolling starts tonight should be fun, and a 20 incident point limit for the races tonight. If you get more than 20 incident points, you have to do a drive-through penalty. So very important to keep your tyres on the racetrack tonight and keep your panels clear of other panels, if that makes sense. Try not to bang into each other. Right, lone qualifying kicks off now. See some cars start to rev their way out of the pit lane. Remember, they can't see each other. We can see all of them, but they can't see each other, which makes it very good for having no one else to blame, trying to get a good lap time in here. There is Jack Boyd leading us out onto this circuit. The outlap important just to get the tyres into the working window before you unleash them around this Phillip Island circuit. Sonny Canchin hasn't started his outlap in the best possible way. He's doing a little bit of work down there to our gravel trap. Ring the curator, he's just been raking that, as Jeremy Pickens also ruins the beautiful rake job down there in that gravel trap. So curator will be yelling from his little vantage point as we see Graham Ellis, who big thanks to Graham if he watches this back later on. He's a massive supporter of us here at Race Stars TV. Big thanks for the stars. And we've got Jake Neasley in the house. He says, let's go Hobbo 88. And Adam St. John says, think I'll sit the V8s out and watch too much car for me. Oh, jump in and have a go. Is it too late to jump in, Adam? Got a fair few competitors out there, so it's going to be a good field of cars. It is a lot of car. Like Adam says, if you're not used to driving these supercars, and I think Graham Ellis is struggling a little bit with the horsepower himself, it's tough to jump across from an MX-5 or a Formula V that these guys have been racing into something that's got 6 times the horsepower, and probably one of the hardest cars just to control in iRacing. And no traction control, no ABS. It's a driver's driving machine, this one. There's Andrew Roberts in the Ford Falcon. He's running the old Ford Falcon. Good to see they've got a mix of cars out there. So we've got a mixture of the Ford Falcon as well as the latest Commodore, and of course the Ford Mustang. So we're watching some sector times down the bottom there. You can see Willits, Ellis and Wood all on green sectors. What we're looking out for is some purple sectors once they get underway for their first flying lap, and a few of those drivers are on their first flying lap now. We'll try and just jump in with a couple that we expect to go towards the top. Here's Hobbo just going through the midpoint of his flying lap now. We'll jump on board with him and ride up towards the hay shed. So far it's looking pretty good sector-wise for Hobbo, and they'll get probably 2 to 3 laps in, and then they'll be run and done. And in fact, it's just having a look here for the qualifying, it is 2 laps, so they only get 2 laps, 10 minutes to do it, but 2 laps total. So this being Hobbo's second lap, I think, or is it his first lap? I think he's 1.8 laps through. I think that counts the out lap there, so they'll get to do 3 laps in total, including the out lap. So Boyd goes across the line with a 1:28.5. Let's see what Hobson does. He crosses the line now, and he goes P2, 1/10 off the pace there of Boyd. Coleman goes 3rd, and we're just seeing Glenn Boyd now slip up into 4th place. So nice job by both Boyds there, 1st and 4th. Simon Joel Smith's gone through into 6th. It just gets knocked back to 7th now as Wayne Losh displaces him for 6th place. Moz has gone up into 5th, by the way, and Sonny Canchin goes across the line now. He'll start, well, from P10 unless he can improve on this second flying lap now. Darren Sharp's off the track, so he's actually reset to the pits. And meanwhile, let's just watch Jack Boyd in improving, I think, sector by sector on this, his second flying lap. So he did a 1:28.5 on the first one. He goes across the top of Lukey now, onto the brakes for MG, turns it in, good front end. It's working well for him. You can see a fair bit of dirt's been kicked onto the circuit through turn 11 where the drivers have spun off and then booted the tyres and thrown heaps of dirt and muck back onto the racetrack. And then we go down across the line here for Jack Boyd. What can he do? It was a 28.5. Crosses the line with a 28.5 again, so improves slightly on that lap. Hobson through the final corner now. What can he do? He's yellow through the first sector, green in the second sector, so I'm not sure he's going to pit. Boyd at the post. Crosses the line now, hugs the right-hand side of the track, does improve. Stays second within just over a tenth of a second. Coleman also improves slightly but stays P3. Now fourth as Glenn Boyd goes through up into third place, so great job. How's Cameron Edwards going tonight? He's gone into 13th ahead of Dylan Canto. Oh, who's put in the fence there in quite a big way. That's exactly what I was talking about before we started tonight, is losing it through that final corner. And it's a one-way ticket to the fence, and he's struggling just to get it back on the racetrack. There is Canto. So there you go. Sonny Canchin goes 11th as he finishes his second lap. There's Willits. Looks like he's aborted his lap. Let's go to Jamie Walker. He goes down through turn 1 now, and the rear spares entry will slow down. 25th for him. So they're all bailing out of their laps now. Let's have a quick look. And well, they're all going to do it to me out there. I flipped through the final drivers. I think Glenn Boyd there was just doing a practice start, which is something we don't see a lot of drivers do, and I'd expect to see more having a crack at getting these things off the line, although with a rolling start that isn't as needed as you would think. Anthony says, do we pressure Greg for a top 10 this time? Well, how's he qualified? Just having a look now. He's down in 19th place, so he's going to have to work up a few positions in the opening part of this race. So Kyle Ridley going for a little slide through the final corner. That lap won't count, so that is the downside of iRacing when you go off the race circle like that. The lap means nothing. We've still got a little bit of time here, but most drivers have run their 2 laps, and that's all they get here. So I think Wayne Losh will probably put this back into the pit lane. He's practicing his drifting by the looks of things. He's going to give us a bit of a show through the final corner. He is, he's trying anyway. It's a little bit sideways. I reckon he's going to end up in the wall here. No, he doesn't. Nice job, Wayne Losh. So he finishes his laps, and he's 1.4 seconds off in 6th place. So quite a big gap between 2nd and 3rd, isn't it? The top 2, very, very close. Hobson and Boyd. Boyd obviously on provisional pole position, and then Glenn Boyd 9/10, nearly a full second back then from 1st and 2nd place. So Hobbo just on his in lap. Enjoying it out there in the sunshine. The weather conditions for this race, 21 degrees ambient, 23 on the track. Partly cloudy here. It's 8:12 in the morning at Phillip Island. And we're in the future, November 15th, 2022. How good's that? So Hobson into the pits. Now remember, there will be a compulsory stop in one of the 2 races tonight. I'm not sure how they police that, but one of the 2 races will try and keep it in touch on when that is or which drivers have made their stops. But yeah, they'll have to change compulsory at least 2 tyres. So keep an eye on that. So practicing the pit entry, which Hobson's just done, is probably an important aspect that a lot of drivers also forgot to do. He practices his pit exit as well. Nice job. Gives us the full range of what you sort of need to do in a V8 supercar here at Phillip Island. So he practices all the bits and pieces. Right, we're a minute and a half now off the start. So we'll get set to, we'll head across now, get set to call out the grid. Phillip Island from the air, here it is. As we round out qualifying, it will be Boyd on pole position, Jack Boyd. Brenton Hobson will start from P2, followed by, on the second row, Glenn Boyd and Owen Coleman. Rolling start tonight Moz Moroz puts it up into 5th place with Wayne Losh alongside him. And it's Simon Joel Smith, Nick Wood, Sean Doyle and Damien Seeger, your top 10 for the start of this race. Sonny Canchin will start from 11th tonight with Andrew Pears for company out of 12. And it's Cameron Edwards, Dylan Canto, Aaron Dutch and Henry Fenson down there in 16th place. Darren Sharp will start from 17th with Jesse White Carriage down there in 18th. And Greg Holmes 19th with Jamie Willits alongside out of 20th position. Sharp will start from 21st. It's Adam Sharp with Kyle Ridley, Lucas Stassi in 23rd. Graham Ellis will start from 24th place with Ray Harrison, Jamie Walker and Phillip Parasito down there in 27th. Andrew Roberts starts from 28th. And McMahon, Linus and Picken did not make a qualifying time, sadly. They'll start right at the back of the grid. Big thanks again, Jonathan Hancock in race control for this race. Let's get set to go racing here for the Roadster Rumble. Thanks to SimWorks Simulators and all the sponsors for this series. We are going to a rolling start tonight as we buzz the pit lane, we buzz the tower. Let's have a look at these drivers. They're going to do a full lap, so we can go through the full grid again. I didn't realise we were going to do a full lap, so they'll start behind the Porsche safety car, give themselves plenty of opportunity to get a good sighting lap before we start. But Jack Boyd, like I said, quite a bit of a time difference there. Jack Boyd and Brenton Hobson, the top two. It's about a second, then back to Glenn Boyd on the second row of the grid. Owen Coleman very close to the time that Glenn Boyd posted. Then you've got Moz and Wayne Losh within 1.5 seconds or so of the race pace. Simon Joel Smith, Nick Wood, Boyle and Seeger, your top 10. It was 1.9 seconds covering the top 10. So if you're just tuning in, g'day. Hopefully you're doing all right. Graham says I ran 2 bad laps, so good luck for the race, Graham. Let's see if we can pick up a quick shot of your car as he's gridded up for us. And he's down there in 24th position. Yeah, so loving some deliveries tonight. Last minute sort of deliveries some of the drivers had to do, but they've done a good job. So they'll roll away shortly behind that Porsche safety car, and Jack Boyd will get the honours. A couple of Synergy Sim Racing drivers at the front here. Lovely delivery there for Boyd as well. Synergy Sim Racing colours with the pink highlight, and then Hobbo as the blue highlight for his Synergy Sim Racing machine, and all black with a bit of blue. Glenn Boyd then in behind for the Boyd Racing machine. Holden Commodore, number 38, did very, very well in qualifying. Owen Coleman starts alongside him. There's a lot of revving going on. Now we get to roll away. So, sighting lap now for this first of 2 races, 12 lap affair. And there's a look back from Jack Boyd's car. Hello, Neil Yates in the house. Thanks for the stars, man. Hope you're doing well. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to everyone. In fact, Easter Monday we're at today, isn't it? So it's long weekend for those that didn't have to work. Well done. There's a lot of drivers and fans of motor racing that went to Bathurst, of course, this weekend for the 6 hour. Great job to our family from Race Stars TV that did well throughout that event. Dave Worrell and others. And tonight, this is the Roadster Rumble. So generally, if you're new to watching this series, they run MX-5s, 3 different types of MX-5s within one category. But tonight is just a fun Easter event to blow off some steam, and all the drivers have rocked up, so it's very, very good. And Greg Holmes was happy enough to stream it, so he's done just that. There he is, the number 13, Don't Panic. He's written on the front fender of that car. No panicking needed tonight. Who's going to be able to make it through turn 1? And who's going to go for the big run down the grass? I don't like predicting it this early, but I'm expecting someone who's going to struggle to slow it down at turn 1 on lap 1, and we're going to see someone go barreling across the grass at a great rate of knots. So we hope not, but let's see how we go. I think these top 2, they'll be well in check. They know what they're doing in a V8 supercar, and my prediction is they'll probably run away with this. Boyd and Hobson will be very, very hard to catch. then you'll get a second battle pack behind Glenn Boyd with Owen Coleman, Losh and Moroz. All those drivers very, very close in qualifying. Let's see what they can do together. So 12 laps or 20 minutes, whichever comes first for both races in this second part of the evening. And it's Jack Boyd just coming down through MG now, 2 corners to go. The safety car will pull off into the pit lane. You'll see it disappear to the left of screen now. Does this little side shimmy usually. One day they're going to fix that. Yep, little side shimmy, in it goes. We get set to go racing, so let's watch this. They have to wait for the iRacing green and then they'll burst into action. And it will be Jack Boyd trying to get a jump on Hobson here, if he can. Wait for the green light. There we go, we're racing here from Phillip for race 1. Someone's going very slow in the mid-pack there. I'm not sure who it was, but someone looked like they had their pit limiter on. They did not get moving at all. We head down through the big sweep at turn 1. It's Boyd out in front from Hobson. We've got a car off the racetrack as I expected. Someone's gone very, very wide down there and through the southern loop for the first time. We've got cars rejoining. Jack Boyd's out in front by the smallest margin. Hobson's coming back at him already. So Boyd and Hobson, Coleman within 0.6 of a second as well. He goes down into Honda hairpin for the first time. Boyd leads, Hobson on his tail. We've got a spinner down there now into the braking zone sideways. Sean Doyle, got to be careful with the rejoin here that he doesn't create more issues. In fact, Andrew Roberts is off the track as well. There's a fair few drivers that are going around. Graham Ellis slips through. He's made a nice little start up one position. And Jack Boyd through the hay shed for the first time. 0.6 of a second the margin. In control, looking very, very comfortable. Hobbo tucks in behind. In behind them, Coleman trying to get close, trying to stay under the wing of Hobson if he can. He knows that these two in front have got great lap speed. He needs to try and stay within half a second and just get the advantage of the toe to keep himself in check. Down the pit straight away, you can see Dylan Canto in 5th place. He's just dropped back a little bit off the back of Losh, and then you've got Simon Joel Smith in behind. Then we look back further to Dutch and Moroz. Cameron Edwards, who was quick tonight in the Formula V's, he's in P9 and sharp rounds out your top 10. Jack Boyd for Boyd Racing, or Synergy Sim Racing, now goes through, leading this race by just on a second. Good battle back in the pack. This is Canto and Simon Joel Smith. And a good fight behind them too between Dutch, Edwards, Sharp, Fenton, Sharp, Stassi Ridley and Glenn Boyd, who was the driver that went backwards. And who's that? That's Stassi. Oh, hello. Off in the grass, and good save in the end. Stop that going up the embankment. If you had gone up the embankment, oh, look out. Oh, dearie me. Contact there for, was it? Oh, we've got another car well off the track. Linus it is. And that was a little bit awkward. The rejoin was a squeeze. It went 3 wide and a couple of cars made some contact down there. And Lucas Stassi has got it running up again in 18th place, but it was touch and go. A few drivers, I think, will call that to the race stewards to have a look at that little moment. Fenton and Boyd, Glenn Boyd trying to recover from what happened at the start. In behind them, there's Doyle down the inside on Ridley. There was the contact we saw. It was all happening down towards Honda hairpin on lap 2 of this race. And that's what we sort of expected tonight, as Boyd leads by 0.7 of a second. Across the line he goes again. And he is absolutely flying. Look at these top 2 stretching away now, a 2.6 second buffer between Boyd and Hobson. Back to Coleman now. It's a massive, massive gap opening up. There's Wayne Losh in tow as well. Canto still trying to stay with Joel Smith. He's got Moroz for company. Then Dutch, Edwards and Sharp. Doyle in a battle here. Doyle and Boyd. Boyd's all over the back of him now, so jump on board with Glenn Boyd. 12th place. Whether or not he just missed a gear, it looked like he had the pit limiter on and the light went green and he just went backwards through the field. Remember, he was on the second row. Well, he ended up down in about 14th or 15th place by the time they went through turn 1. Glenn Boyd now works his way back to 12th. He'll get alongside Sean Doyle here. That's how close it is, wheel to wheel. Doyle will have the inside and he should be able to hold him out. So they've already made a little bit of contact, these two tonight. There's a bit of panel rubbing there as well, as I think Fenson's gone into the fence and into the barrier, into the contour bank, whatever you want to call it. He's damaged the side of that car as well. Not ideal. Jack Boyd through the final couple of corners to finish lap 3, dominating. He's got a second. The margin now to Hobbo. Onto the pit straight they go. Watch the speed as they come down past our stationary camera. There goes Boyd. There goes Hobson. Here comes Coleman. Disappears into the distance. Simon Joel Smith coming through now as well. Flat out past our big camera. Here comes Cameron Edwards. Chasing down Sharp. We wait for Greg Holmes. There's Holmesy. He goes through trying to catch Kyle Ridley in the Ford Mustang here. So Holmes up into 13th. I tell you what were we saying there about I think it was Anthony saying don't pressure him into a top 10, or should we pressure him into a top 10? Well, he's up into 13th already. He's only 3 spots off a top 10. So just to say that, he's got a big tank slapper on through the Southern Loop. Greg Holmes, who runs this series, puts it all together, does a great job having some fun out there tonight in these V8 Supercars. Good battle between Canto and Moroz here. Let's jump on board with Dylan. Looking back, you can see Extreme Racing car we're on board with. Oh dear, Jesse's off the track too. What's happened to Jesse? Carlton Dry Entry's off in the wars. We're back to this battle with Moroz and Canto. Behind them you got Dutch and Sharp as well. This is the on board with Andrew Dutch, Grindtech Flooring Racing entry. Darren Sharp, just keeping him honest. Let's jump on board with Sharpie. Battling with the wheel spin. You can see these drivers, they're not used to getting that sort of wheel spin when you jump on the throttle. Canto, Moroz and Dutch all peel into the pit lane, so they're going to jump in for their first stop. They decide now is the time. In the background you can see the Edwards and Boyd battle heating up. Here they come, flat out, and I reckon Boyd's going to have a look to the outside, which he does, and he gets through on Edwards. So Glenn Boyd back into 7th now. He goes very, very deep through there. You got to keep the tyres off the grass, which he does, so good job Glenn Boyd in the hunt, and back now into 7th after dropping I think down as far as about 15th or 14th place on the bad getaway at the start. That was Darren Sharp there lighting the rear tyres up in the Irwin Holden Commodore, and he's just dropped back behind both Boyd and Edwards there, so that mistake quite costly. Boyd now moves up into 6th place. The next driver up the road for him, Simon Joel Smith. You can see Darren Sharp still struggling to get the power down. Just watch him out of Siberia here. Watch the way this car dances on those rear tyres. Yeah, it's not the fastest way to drive, but it's a hell of a lot of fun, I can tell you right now. It's Walker. Oh dear, Walker snatches a break and goes exit stage left. He'll try and turn around and find his way back to the racing circuit, but will drop probably outside the top 20. And I think we did put the mockers on Greg Holmes because he's back in 19th, although he did stop. So he's got his pit stop out of the way now. Remember, there is one compulsory stop in either of the races tonight. 12-lap race with 6 laps already into the race. This man out in front with a 1.1 second margin. Jack Boyd looks in control. What'd you all do for Easter? Let us know in the chat. I'll read out a couple of comments. Hopefully everyone got to see some family. It feels incredibly weird to have so many Easters in a row where we had lockdowns and all that sort of thing. You weren't allowed to see your family even, and I finally got to see my nephews today, which was nice. I don't get to see them that often, especially lately with having COVID. Then they got COVID separately, and so it was great to spend a little bit of family time today, and hopefully everyone else is in the same boat and could just relax a bit over the last 4 days before we all go back to work again tomorrow. So happy Easter to everyone that's tuning in tonight, wherever you are across the Race Stars family in Australia and around the world. Jack Boyd, Hobson, Ken Hobson, who races very, very well in this car. Can he do anything tonight about Jack Boyd? 1.6 seconds the margin. Jack Boyd's just extending that a little bit more on this lap. Now, Moroz in 15th. He's the first driver that's stopped, so he took fuel and a couple of tyres, down in 15th place. Off the racetrack, that's down at Pond Hairpin as well, so he's made a mistake down there. Ray Harrison goes through now up into 23rd. The biggest mover and shaker so far is Kyle Ridley, so he's moved his way up 14 spots into the top 8. Great drive. Adam Sharp behind him's made 12 spots up into 9th, and Lucas Sassy also up 13 spots into the top 10. He's in the SimWorks racing machine, so fantastic to have SimWorks race simulators as the sponsor for this series, the Roadster Rumble. Obviously tonight's not a normal Roadster Rumble round because we're in these different cars. Simon Joel Smith's gone off the track from 5th, so that's not ideal. Glenn Boyd will see that and say, right, sitting duck, let's get him. Glenn Boyd in 6th place, about to monster, I reckon, Simon Joel Smith, as Nick Woods and Jamie Willits both now come into the pits to make their stop as well. Recovery drive from Glenn Boyd. Jack Boyd's in the pits, by the way, so Hobson does go into the lead of the race. We've got a car on fire in the pits. I just saw in the background. Who is that? That's Fenson, is it? Henry Fenson. On fire. That car does not look like it's going to see the racetrack again today, sadly, so we need to get the fire engine down there as quick as possible. So Hobson leading now. Where does Jack come back out into the track? It's a long stop. He comes back out around the top 10. 8th place, in fact. Where's Lucas Stassi? Stassi's just coming down the pit lane now, past that car on fire. So Stassi will come out just in... Sorry, Boyd comes out just in front of Stassi. And the gap to Hobbo, 27.4 seconds. So it was 36 seconds transit time through the lane with a 10.6 second stationary stop. That's quite a bit more than Moroz, Dutch and Sharp did, so he's taken a bit of extra fuel, I reckon, there, Jack Boyd. Obviously, we got a spinner just in front of him. That was Ridley going around there, so luckily Jack was able to avoid that. Good battle in the mid-pack here. This is Sonny Canchin just going around the outside of Seeger and Canto, who's just in behind this. So Dylan Canto now back in 18th place. Sonny Canchin back 5 spots into 16th. And once again, the back end of Damien's car in front there, just really struggling to put the power down. It's so tempting. You sort of glide in with the throttle around the southern loop, and then all of a sudden, the back end just comes around on you, goes down the inside, has a look on Canchin, and he should be able to get this done. They'll go wheel to wheel, these two. Canchin disappears, reappears, and there you go. He disappears again, so that's an awkward little thing when you're the driver that's seeing the car disappear and reappear. It can be quite off-putting. Generally, it's an internet issue at the end of Sonny Canchin. Hopefully he gets that solved. So lap 9 of 12, Hobson leads. Now, my understanding of the rules is they can make the stop in either race. So can Hobson now stay out and win this one by a clear margin of 6.5 seconds, or will he stop as well? Only time will tell. Back in the pack, Walker and Canto. Look at Canto. Got a great run here on the back of Jamie Walker. He's trying to get the car positioned to get a tow, and then Walker moved over to the left-hand side. Adam Sharp's just there as well in the Vodafone car in the back. He's also trying to get involved. He almost puts a wheel out on the grass. So this Sonny Canchin battle, you can see there's about 3 or 4 cars in behind. Oh, someone did go off there. It was Seeger in the Mobil 1 car. He's gone way out into the gravel trap. Will rejoin in 21st place. In fact, 22nd as Sean Doyle slips through. He's still struggling to get back onto the racetrack. Now he gets it on. It's secured. Adam Sharp fighting here with Canto. Canchin. Oh, is that Canchin off? It is. He does a pirouette. Nice little ballet pirouette down there and back onto the racetrack in 20th. Greg Holmes slips through up into 18th now, and Jamie Walker's up 9 spots into 17th place. The Rare Spares car absolutely flying tonight. Good job. Out in front, Brenton Hobson. He's got a lot of lap traffic around him, so he's got to deal with that now. I think he's probably going to stay out. The gap back to Jack Boyd. It's come down to 24 seconds now, so it's been 3 seconds. Jack Boyd's been able to eat out of Hobson's lead, and the top 6 yet to stop. So Jack Boyd in 7th is the top driver that has stopped and taken compulsory tyres and fuel in one of the 2 races tonight. We're about to start lap 11. See if Hobson comes in the pits or he stays out. So he does stay out. We'll get the tow here off Willits, who's just in front of him. So 2 laps to go. Hobbo leads. Back to this Canto battle with Adam Sharp. A couple of Ford Mustangs fighting each other here. This is great to watch. And oh, he's gone in deep there. He snatched the brakes as well. Canto got alongside momentarily, and then he got back out into the throttle there. Sharp. Who's that off the track? It's Holmes. He's gone off as well now. And Jack Boyd just gets past Cameron Edwards. This is for 6th place. Cameron Edwards yet to stop. So Jack Boyd with the pedal to the metal has now got the margin to Hobbo down to 23 seconds. So he's eaten 4 seconds now out of the race lead. And what this will do, if it's a progressive grid, now just having a look at my notes here, I'm pretty sure it is a progressive grid. So they'll start race 2 in the order they finish race 1. And what that means is Jack Boyd, because he's taken his pit stop in this race, he's going to be pretty unstoppable in race 2, because all the drivers in front of him will need to take a pit stop, which was about 36 seconds. Jack Boyd, the transit time through the lane, 10 seconds stationary. So far, the top 5 are yet to do it. They can't take the pit stop on the final lap too, so that'll come down to the second race. We'll have to sort of work on the fly and remember who hasn't stopped. Hobson's about to start the final lap of the race now. So he's going to go through this first race without taking a pit stop, so we have to remember him. Coleman, Losh, Boyd, that's Glenn Boyd, and Simon Joel Smith will all need to make a pit stop in the second race. So will Cameron Edwards, Ridley and Stassi. Those 6 or 7 drivers will all need to make a pit stop in the second race, whereas Jack Boyd, he won't. Neither will Moz, and also Dutch, Sharp, Adam Sharp, Canto. Then you look back to Doyle, White Carriage, Canchin, Seeger and Holmes. All those drivers have made a stop. They can go through the second race without a pit stop. So we may see some interesting places up on the podium due to that strategy tonight. There's Owen Coleman looking for a P2 tonight. Good consistent drive. Last lap was a 1 minute 30.9, so they're back to pace off a little bit. Wayne Losh as well in the low 1 minute 30s. He's looking for P3 in this opening race. Been a good drive. And Hobson about to come across the top of Lukey into MG for the final time to take a win in race 1. And it's been an exceptional effort. A couple of corners to go. We put on a show. Give us a bit of sideways action through the final corners. 1 to go now. He turns it on to the pit straight here. And the Gardner Straight never looks so good when you're heading towards a checker flag. And Brenton Hobson will take that checker flag and win race number 1 of this Roadster Rumble Easter Challenge weekend. And he gets a good victory there. Fantastic drive. Coleman crosses the line for second ahead of Losh. Coming through the final corner now, Wayne Losh for WBT Racing. Good drive. Gets himself P3. Glenn Boyd, 4th place. Good drive considering the start. That's a fantastic recovery. And Jack Boyd comes back to get 5th after taking the pit stop. So he'll start from 5th, and he should get a pretty clear run then to the checkered flag if all goes to plan. His strategy in race number 2. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back with that shortly. And we're getting set for a big finale here tonight for the Roadster Rumble. There's your race 1 results up on the screen now with Hobson a clear winner there, 8.7 seconds in the end over Owen Coleman and Wayne Losh. Your top 3. Quick warm-up session now pending before we go to race 2 with Glenn Boyd 4th, Jack Boyd in 5th there ahead of Simon Joel Smith. Cameron Edwards got 7th tonight. And then it was Ridley and Stassi, your top 9, with Andrew Dutch running at your top 10 in race 1. Sharp Moroz Ellis there in 13th. It's a good drive by Graham there to get himself up into the top 13. Adam Sharp, Dylan Cantor got 15th with Sean Doyle, Andrew Pears and Sonny Canchin rounding out your top 18 drivers. 19th in the race 1 went to Seeger with White Carriage down there in 20th. It was Greg Holmes, Willits, Wood, in 23rd with Walker, Harrison, Paradiso, Linus and Fenson, your top 28. 29th went to Roberts with McMahon and Jeremy Picken, your 31. Alright, we'll take a quick break here for about a minute or so and we come back shortly with the feature, the final race of the night, live from Phillip Island on Race Stars TV. This is the Roadster Rumble. Time for the feature event, folks. Thanks to Simworks Racing Simulators, the Roadster Rumble Easter special tonight. A last minute broadcast, thanks to Greg, saying let's get this done for what is something a little bit different for these drivers that used to racing around the MX-5s. Tonight it's been Formula V's jumping straight into a V8 supercar. How's that for a change up in the works? Brenton Hobson will start from first on the grid for this final race. Owen Coleman out of P2 with Wayne Losh out of 3 and Glenn Boyd inside the top 4. Watch out for Jack Boyd. He won't need to stop in this final race. He's done his pit stop, so he should have a pretty clear run if he can get away nicely off the line and just manage the first few laps until the driver's in front pit. Simon Joel Smith starts from 6th with Cameron Edwards 7th, and it's Kyle Ridley, Lucas Stassi and Andrew Dutch running out your top 10. Darren Sharp tonight starts from 11th with Moz Moroz, your top 12. Across the page to 13th is Graham Ellis, great drive in race 1, starts from 13th. Adam Sharp will start from 14th with Dylan Canto and Sean Doyle, your top 16. Then it's Andrew Pears, Sonny Canchin, Damien Seeger, and then you've got starting out of Seeger, and then Jesse White Carriage out of 20th there. Then it's Greg Holmes out of 21st. Jamie Willett starts out of 22nd with Nick Wood and Jamie Walker, your top 24. 25th as they roll away behind the Porsche safety car is Ray Harrison with Phillip Paradiso out of 26th. Then it's Darren Linus out of 27th with Henry Fenson 28th. Andrew Roberts, Steve McMahon and Jeremy Picken, your 31 drivers out there for tonight's final race. Big thanks again to 24/7 Race Control with Jonathan Hancock in the house for that. Great job at Brenton Hobson. Has it all to do now in this final race. He will need to make a pit stop, so it'll be damage limitations against Jack Boyd. Considering you lose about probably 27 or so seconds on the racetrack when you do come in to take that 10-second pit stop. So he's with similar company though. Coleman, Glenn Boyd, Losh, and then Simon Joel Smith, Cameron Edwards. They'll all need to stop in this race. Jack Boyd will get the free pass. He'll race towards the front. So we do a full lap here behind the Porsche safety car, and then we get underway for a 12-lap finale. Big thanks to all the regular sponsors you see on the top right-hand side of the screen for this series. And their links are in the description. If you get a chance, go and give them a like and a follow as part of thanking them. And a big thanks to everyone that's tuned in tonight already. Neil Yates, Graham Ellis and Keith Logan. Thanks to the stars and all the star supporters throughout Race Stars, week in, week out, the broadcasts we do. Thank you for your constant support. As tonight is our 546th broadcast, which is fantastic to be back on Easter weekend. We did V8 Supercars with the V8 veterans on Good Friday, and we finish off Easter weekend on Monday with the Roadster Rumble, which is fantastic. This next week coming up, we've got Wednesday night with the Improved Production, New South Wales Improved Production, real life races coming across and doing an E-Series, which will be great fun. And then a couple of nights of V8 Supercars with the V8 Fest, Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday, the Australian Sports Car Championship, back for round number 7 of the V8 Championship. So a lot of action coming up this week. If you haven't already subscribed on Taipan Events, please do so on YouTube and give us a like and a follow on Facebook. Let's get set to go racing though here. We wait for the green light. We'll wait the drivers to come around the final corner here at Phillip Island. They'll line up behind Brenton Hobson. And when iRacing says you can go with the big green, you can go. You can't jump before that stage, otherwise you will get in trouble. There's a look at Hobbo now, waiting for that green light. You'll hear them roar into action. They'll appear up over the crest of the hill. There's the green light. The getaway's pretty good by Hobbo. 2 or 3 wide in the background as they head down towards turn 1. Look at them jostling. We're 4 wide. Through turn 1 we go. The top 3 nicely through there well without any incident at all. Back in the pack. Can they keep it together? This is where it gets a bit dicey. There's a couple of people putting wheels on the grass, but all in all, I think we've all got through there. Okay, Hobson leads us now down through Stoner. There's a couple of cars out wide. I think it was Losh has gone very, very wide. Everyone else has kept it on the circuit. Hobson is going to come down into the braking zone for Honda hairpin. Oh dear, we got a big crash in the background. It was Edwards, and also I think who was the other one there? Was it Ridley? Possibly has gone around So in the braking zone, something went wrong. I think it was the snatch rear brake, turned him sideways, and Bosch and Ridley have both gone off at that same point. Hobson has got Jack Boyd already bolted to the rear end of him. Can you believe it? This man, Jack Boyd, doesn't need to stop in race 2. So effectively, he's already got himself the lead of this race. He just needs to be careful now not to get involved with any sort of shenanigans with Hobbo, which, you know, those two words don't go together. There's never shenanigans with Hobbo. Very clean race driver. And Jack Boyd as well. These two, they know they can lean on each other and not take each other out. But Jack Boyd, he doesn't really even need to try for an overtake here, but is that in the vocabulary of Jack Boyd? I don't think so. Here he goes. Which way will he go? Left or right? He actually holds position. And so far, he doesn't push for a pass. Lap 1, run and done. And it's Hobbo leading. Jack Boyd leads Glenn Boyd, who moves himself up into 3rd, up 1 spot. Coleman dropped 2 off the start, back to 4th. And Simon Joel Smith goes around in 5th. And chasing him is Darren Sharp. Moz Moroz up 5 spots into 7th. Adam Sharp also made a great start. He's up into 8th place. As Andrew Roberts in the fence in the Falcon. He's he's going to make the barrier there for sure. Big hit into the fence. And that will be a lot of damage that needs fixing now. Hobson still leads. Boyd starting to dance around, trying to find a way through behind him though. Watch them as they head up now towards the hay shed. This is the long shot. They can show the gap already between 2nd and 3rd. The two little battle packs starting to form. Glenn Boyd has Owen Coleman bolted to his tail as well as they head up over Lukey. It looks like Boyd was looking to make a pass here on Hobson. He's not close enough though, so Hobson's going to lead us across the line, I think, to start lap 3. When will Hobbo go for his pit stop? Will he just wait a few laps until everything spreads out a little bit and try and slot back into a better spot? As far as track position, you can already see it's a 10-second gap back to 14. So a couple of holes starting to open up back there. He's probably at this stage going to run at least 5 or 6 laps, I would say, into the race before jumping into the pits. He does a 29.0. fastest lap of the race to cross leading. But look at Jack Boyd putting the pressure on. He's absolutely underneath the rear wing now of that car of Hobbo 88. Both these drivers in the Synergy Sim Racing colours. Hobbo with the blue highlight, Jack Boyd with the pink. And what a good show they're putting on. So Jack is close enough for a look down the inside. He doesn't. Oh, Hobbo slams the door shut. He's right on the edge. You can hear the back tyres almost chattering there as he tries to slow that car down there. Glenn Boyd's put a little bit of a gap on Coleman now as well. There's a look back from Boyd's car. You can see that Coleman's dropped back about 6 car lengths. And Coleman's going to have to be careful now. He's going to have to watch his mirrors because this man, Simon Joel Smith, is closing the margin. Greg Holmes is up into 16th, up 5 positions as well. So he's driving nicely in this final race. And just look down to see where's Ellis. Ellis is running back in 24th. Graham on his way now. Like I said earlier, he does a lot to support the channel here and always in with a comment every time we broadcast. So thanks, Graham. Good to see you out there having a bit of sideways fun with that V8 supercar with the methanol moonshine on the side as well. Will Wilson says F3. No F3 this week. They're having an Easter week or 2 off, so F3 will resume on Racestars TV in a couple of weeks' time. So look out for that, of course. With F3A, thanks to Formula Racing Group, as we see Hobson still holding up Boyd back in the pack. This is Stassi and Kanchan fighting over 10th place. And the Simworks entry, wow, look out, Sonny's on the outside through the southern loop. Nick Wood's also there now as well. He wants to get involved in this. Let's jump on board with Nick. The Phoenix Smokers racing car. You can see the way Sonny's dancing all over the back of Lucas Stassi, now into the braking zone. It's Kanchan's gone towards the inside, and look at that, Stassi's gone in very, very deep. And hello, I'll have a 2-for-1 deal, says Nick Wood. He'll take both those positions if he can. Go around the outside of Kanchan, who slots back into the inside now. Good racing, good clean racing. Nick Wood will drop back into 11th place, so good fight. And Stassi was the one to lose out there, dropped all the way back behind Seeger, 13th place. Meanwhile, let's catch up with what's going on at the front. And it's still these two onto the pit straight. Hobson leads Boyd. They cross the line, about 2 car lengths in it. And what sort of lap times are we doing here? And look at the way that toe works. It was a 29.5 versus a 29.3. Boyd still closing the margin up and just waiting, I'd say, biding his time until Hobbo needs to pit that car. Remember, you can't make the pit stop on the final lap of the race. It has to be done during the race. You can't try and do a Michael Schumacher. Hobson goes defensive, Cantion to the outside now for the Honda hairpin. He's right on the limit of braking there. Boyd might get a switchback. No, Hobbo did well to slow the car down and then block, making sure that Boyd couldn't punch it to the inside as they headed out of the corner. So, good racecraft. Brenton Hobson, he's been doing this a while, you can tell. He knows what he's doing out there, and once again he's on fire. Look at this shot as glued together the two Synergy Sim Racing entrants. Loving their racing, and I'm sure probably chatting to each other on the comms while they're doing this and having a good laugh, because this is fantastic to watch. Glenn Boyd's been dropped 4.5 seconds now, back to 3rd place. Owen Coleman still keeping him honest in 4th as we head onto the pit straight. And listen to the way he had to get out of the throttle there. It's such a cool corner because it makes the drivers really work for every bit of grip. Here he goes, Boyd to the inside, and Hobbo lifts out the throttle, lets him go. Didn't really fight it too hard, and Boyd now leads this race. Jack Boyd leads. What's happened to Sharp? We spin the camera around because, oh, Sharp, how did he hang on to that? That is a mega save. Adam Sharp, the big old tank slapper, out of the final corner and somehow managed to gather it all up. And he'll need to change his race suit after that one, but Sharpie in 11th place could have been out of this race. That was incredible. Good job. Boyd now leads, and he's starting to try and walk away from Hobson, but Hobson, he's a wily old fox. He won't let that happen too quickly. And Glenn Boyd now still holds position. Let's go back to this Nick Wood fight. Nick Wood and Sonny Cantion. Isn't it interesting how it's always the same old names that are interlocked in these battles? Greg Holmes has moved his way up into 13th now, so he's not too far off the top 10. He chases Jamie Willits. Still got some short breath of since COVID. I do apologise, I just lose oxygen here and there as the lungs recover. But I'm starting to feel much better, which is good. So for anyone that's had COVID, I don't know how many weeks it takes, but I think I'm 2 or 3 weeks now since I got it. Still absolutely beating the crap out of my lungs. Good racing here between Willits and Holmes. Both have made up great gains. Jamie in front here, he's up 10 spots into the top 12 in the Mobil 1 car, so fantastic drive. Willits racing car, number 80, so he's using my race number. Love it. And he crosses the line here to start lap 7 into a P11 now with Glenn Boyd making his compulsory pit stop. He's dropping way down the order, so that's not ideal, but remember, a lot of these drivers will need to stop unless they stopped in race 1, which Jack Boyd has done. So he's leading the race, doesn't need to stop. Home and hose is probably one way to put it. Good battle here between Cantion, Wood and Doyle. 3 wide into the hairpin. Will they come out unscathed? They had to check up there. I think that was Doyle had to check up there because Cantion went in a little bit deep. Slow car off the track was Canto there as well. Stay here at the chopper cam as Doyle almost makes contact with the back of Woods. Now Sonny Cantion accelerates away down towards the hay shed again. Spinner in the background there. We've also got Stassi off the track down at the Southern Loop. Simworks Race Simulators entry, cutting the grass down there in 20th place. And Moz in the fence, so Moz Moroz from 5th place. The Milwaukee car now hammers the fence at turn 11, just before turn 11. And the Palmer's Australia racing car will probably have to go to the pits. I'm just checking. No, he stays out, so that damage obviously okay to carry on, but it looks like it's taking a good swipe on the left-hand side. smoke down there. Harrison was off the track as the leaders come through. Doyle continues to lead over Wood. Seeger is in there as well. Roz and Willits, Sharp, Dutch. White Carriage, he's got ahead of Holmes as well now. That's for 14th place where Holmes is. Glenn Boyd, who's stopped for his fuel and compulsory tyre stop, has come back out in 15th place. The car looks fresh and needs some good speed to try and get a podium. And even though there's a lot of cars in front, the podium's still on offer tonight because of this pit strategy. So Jack Boyd, Hobson's going to come in now. This is an important run to the pits. You'll need to take probably around 9 to 10 seconds worth of fuel. He stops it perfectly onto the limiter there as he gets to the yellow cones. And you'll see a lot of cars go past. Coleman's also coming into the lane behind him, so there's Owen for his stop. Hobson will stop just beneath us here in the pit lane. And importantly, he needs to try and get out as quickly as he can for track position. So Canchin goes through, so does Seeger, Doyle and Wood. Baroz goes through as well. Jamie Willits goes through. Hobson's off the blocks. He took 10 seconds worth of fuel, which is pretty much identical to what Jack Boyd took in the first race. So Boyd leads, and from memory, everyone between Sharp and Willits in 8th place will need to stop in this race. So it's still looking good for Hobson to get himself P2. He needs to clear these cars as quickly as he can though, as he gets alongside Willett, and Willits gets out of the throttle. I think that was pretty easy in the end. Jamie giving lots of space there to Hobbo, who holds on to ninth place. You can see Adam Sharp tucked in behind. He locks a wheel as he goes into the braking zone for the hairpin as well. And he's currently inside the top 10. Darren Linus has made up 11 spots into 16th tonight. Good drive. Let's give a couple of these drivers that have made up some good gains. Rapp and Henry Fenson's another one. Up 7 spots into 21st, so well done. So we'll have to wait and see who needs to stop and when. Oh, that was Graham Ellis off the track there, just rejoining. And who else is down there? I think Andrew Roberts is also in the Ford Frog League racing car. Oh, just rejoining as well. Get up on that AstroTurf and be a bit better than the grass probably. Boyd leads by 18 seconds over Darren Sharp. Owen Coleman side by side here with Dutch down the pit straight. Glenn Boyd's in there as well. All three of them racing down towards turn 1, and Coleman's going to lead us through just ahead of Boyd. Glenn Boyd in tow, and he's trying to find a way through. Now he goes back to the outside. There he is, Glenn Boyd, right underneath the wing of Coleman. Coleman just absolutely mashing at the throttle through there, trying to get some traction. Only got a couple of laps to go in the race, so there's a few drivers up the front that will need to stop and stop ASAP, remembering they can't stop on the last lap of this race. So I'm thinking Darren Sharp, P2, still needs to stop. It's very hard as a broadcaster to know really who stopped in race 1 and who hasn't stopped. So I'm just guessing here, but I think Sharp, Canchin, Doyle and Seeger all still need to stop. Thanks, Adam. Glad you're enjoying the broadcast, man. As we watch it count down, now 2 laps to go. Jack Boyd has been an absolute maestro tonight. He's conducted himself perfectly. He's kept the car nice and clean. Had a good wheel-to-wheel battle with Hobbo. And well, he's only got to do this lap and one more to bring it home for a great win. Hobson now on board with him as he lines up. Seeger is about to overtake him. He's got someone else, as Nick Wood, on his right hand side, so that's close, and he goes around the outside. Hobbo, good job, flies through there just ahead of Seeger and Wood. So Hobson's up into 5th. It's going to come down to the wire, I think, between whether or not Sharp needs to stop and Canchin and Doyle. Can you guys remember if they need to stop or not? I'm pretty sure Sharp will. And the gap between Sharp and Hobson is 6 seconds. So, Seeger's gone off. He's off the track down at Honda Hairpin. So Moroz goes through. Who else is off there? I think Sean Doyle's off as well. Takes an eternity to get back onto the black stuff when you go out onto the grass. There is no grip at all. There's Greg Holmes, 52 seconds off the lead, 15th place. So another good drive, up 6 spots ahead of Simon Joel Smith, who's in 16th place. But Jack Boyd comes through, takes the white flag. 1 lap to go in tonight's feature race. Let's see who stops on this lap. Will Darren Sharp go to the lane? No, he doesn't, so he should be on for a podium then. So he must have stopped in the first race. It's going to come down now between Canchin and Hobson. And Hobson is within 1 second of a podium here. So final lap of the race, and Sonny Canchin, who just did it 1 minute 30.9, was almost 2 seconds slower than Brenton Hobson on the previous lap. So Hobson with a bit between his teeth now. He wants that podium, and he's got the margin already down to 0.8 of a second. In fact, coming out of the southern loop, it'll be even less. It'll be 0.5 of a second. Hobson on the charge now, coming down through Stoner towards Honda Hairpin. The gap's down to 0.3. Into the braking zone we go. Look how defensive Canchin goes. He knows Hobbo's arrived on the scene. Then he disappears for good measure. He reappears with Hobbo beside him. The lap car gets out of the way. That was Harrison. And Hobbo goes around the outside at Siberia. Canchin on the inside. They almost make contact. Do they make contact? That was so close. Hobbo makes the move stick. He moves himself up into a podium spot. What a great drive. And Canchin will have to hang on for 4th now. Meanwhile, Boyd, he's heading onto the pit straight. He's going to win this one by an absolute country mile. Jack Boyd takes the win in race 2 tonight, the feature race, ahead of Darren Sharp, who's going to get 2nd place in the Irwin's car. Great drive by him as well. Used the pit stop strategy in race 1, and he's going to come home for a podium in race 2. Ahead of Brenton Hobson, who's 3 seconds up the road behind him. So great drive there, Darren Sharp. The number 36 car gets P2 tonight. Hobson moves into 3rd. The Simply Sim racing driver had to use a pit stop in that final race. And he beats Sonny Canchin. Nick Wood gets 5th. Moroz gets 6th. Then it's Seeger. Glenn Boyd gets 8th. Willits and Boyd to round out your top 10. Great racing. All those drivers have put on a great show for us tonight. We'll wrap it up. We'll go down shortly and hopefully chat to some drivers. Not sure if they don't want to chat to me tonight because it's Easter, but we'll see if they rock in to the broadcast booth for a quick chat before you leave here, and you can enjoy the rest of your night. They're off bush bashing, these guys. Where's Hobbo? Giving us a burnout? No one's giving us a burnout tonight. That's all good. We'll get those results up for you shortly, but Jack Boyd, too strong, takes a win in the feature race, and he was in control all night from the get-go, wasn't he? We'll get those final results up as soon as they're made available from iRacing, and we'll go through all the audits. I can tell you that Stassi finished 19th ahead of Linus. Walker got 21st with Benson Paradiso. Harrison was 24th ahead of Ellis, Ridley and Pears. Your top 27 with Roberts, Canto, McMahon, Picken rounding out the 31. Big thanks again to Jonathan Hancock in race control tonight. But Jack Boyd too strong. He takes the win in the Roadster Rumble Easter Special tonight. Live from Phillip Island. Anthony Connors says great work, and also the admin team. Yep, we've got to give them big thanks for another great combination of races. It was good to combine the 2 very different cars tonight, Formula V and then V8 Supercars. Very, very tricky. There's your feature results up on the screen now. And Jack Boyd confirmed the winner there, 22 seconds, and it was 26 seconds back to Hobbo. Considering a pit stop's around 27 seconds, it would have been a line ball between those two otherwise. So fantastic job. Looks like we're not getting anyone in for a chat tonight, so we're going to wrap it up there from Race Stars TV. Big thanks to all the sponsors and the SimWorks race simulators for their major sponsorship of this Roadster Rumble series. We'll be back with them hopefully next Monday, but the general season, or the proper season, kicks off I think in a couple of weeks' time after this Easter holiday break. So take care everyone. Thanks for your support tonight. We'll see you soon. Good night.